Hi, I'm the Scrub and you're here for one reason. Oh. How much further is it? I'm gonna need a drink. At the top. I'm gonna take like 5 minutes. Yeah, you guys go on without me. Oh. I am not young anymore. Time to learn about Mount Gulg. Simplified. If you're using the duty support system, I'd recommend single pulling this dungeon. As you head forward, 4 enemies will appear. Pick these up and continue up the path. More enemies will swoop ahead, but the majority of them will be smushed by the golem's fist. As you group them all up, an untargetable enemy will cast a straight line AoE through the middle of the path. Just step to the side to avoid it. The Forgiven Hypocrisy will cast Heaven Slash, which is a conal AoE. And the Forgiven Ambitions will have an untelegraphed move called Tail Swipe, which will hit anyone behind them in a conal AoE. And they will also turn to random party members with the move of Immolation, which is a medium-sized point-blank AoE. After everything has been defeated, you can head up the path where the wall will be broken ahead of you. Pick up these 3 enemies and continue up the path to the right. Pick up the next group of enemies. You can stop here and kill everything if you want to. Although if you have your big boy or big girl pants on, you can pull the next group as well. When you approach the next group, the untargetable mob will cast a straight line AoE again. Just dodge to the side to avoid it. There will be a lot of AoEs thrown out by the mobs. Just dodge out of all of the AoEs as best you can. After everything has been defeated, you can make your way across the bridge and it's first boss time. Rake is a tank buster. The Forgiven Cruelty will turn to a random party member and cast Lumen Infinitum. This will be an untelegraphed straight line AoE when the cast ends. If he turns to face you, just move to the side to dodge the attack. If you get hit by any avoidable AoE in this fight, you'll get a Von stack. The boss will move into the middle of the room, rise up to hover just above the ground, and cast Typhoon Wing. This will create a triangle of green wind orbs. You'll need to move to a side of the triangle in between the green orbs, as they will throw out a conal AoE from the points of the triangle. You'll need to make sure that you keep this in mind for later on as well. Cyclone Wing is a room-wide AoE. Typhoon Wing will repeat. Make sure you get to a side of the triangle. After this, every Typhoon Wing will come with additional wind wisps that will be in the dead middle of the arena and in certain points around the arena. The wisps will create a medium-sized circular AoE, so the safe zone that you'll need to get to will be reduced. The easiest way that I normally do this is I find a side of the triangle, move out, then move a few steps away from whichever side the wisp is on. The Forgiven Cruelty will begin to repeat mechanics until it has been defeated. Continue up the path picking up the 4 enemies along the way. As you round the corner, you'll see a bunch of cubes made of light. This will have a wall form in its place with a Forgiven Apathy Wall Mob. If you're close enough to the Wall Mob, it will initially suck in all players and bring you closer to it. This Wall Mob will continuously cast Earthshaker and throw out conal AoEs in random directions until it is defeated. Kill everything and the wall will disintegrate, allowing you to continue. Head into the next area. Run out of the cave and turn left. Grab the 3 enemies and continue around to the path made of light cubes. As you approach the next pair of enemies, there will be another wall mob created in your path. This mob will throw out the Earthshaker AoEs again. The Forgiven Prejudice will also have a conal AoE directed towards a random party member called Sanctification. Nuke everything and head up the stairs to the left. Second boss time. Sacrament of Penance is a room-wide AoE. The Rubik's Cube will begin to scramble itself. This cube has 9 squares that will be facing the party. Each square on the cube represents the same square as what's in the arena. It will eventually stop with a pattern of faces. These faces will indicate which of the squares in the arena are unsafe. You'll need to get to a square that won't be exploding from a face on the cube. So if it has an X pattern, then the squares in the middle on all the sides are safe, and if it has a plus pattern, then the squares in the corners will be safe. If you get hit by anything avoidable in this fight, you'll get a Von stack. Catechism is an untelegraphed tank buster. The cast of Judgment Day will put 2 meteor towers on opposite sides of the arena. At least one player will need to stand in one to soak the damage of the tower. If no one stands in a tower, it will explode and give everyone a Von stack. When the cube spins around next time, it will also have several orbs that will spawn in. These orbs will have large donut AoEs from their position. There will be a set number of orbs depending on the number of faces. Either 4 orbs will appear in the middle squares, which will go with 2 faces on opposite sides, or 2 orbs will appear in opposite corners, which will go with 5 faces in an X or plus pattern. If you get 2 faces and 4 orbs, just move to the orbs that won't have a face to make that square explode. If you get 5 faces and 2 orbs, you can move to either of the orbs, but make sure that you're standing in a spot that again doesn't have a face in it. The safe spot can be a lot smaller than you're thinking, so it might take a bit of quick thinking to get into that safe spot. From here, mechanics will repeat until the cube has been defeated. Head out of the boss room and follow the steps down to the right. I'd recommend that if you aren't fully confident in you and your party's abilities, to stagger these next few pulls. As you pull the enemies in each pack, they will all get the buff of Vorthri's Blessing. This will give them a little boost in their damage and defense, as well as making their AoE slightly bigger. Pull the first pack and continue down the stairs to the left. Pick up the next pack and group everything up. You can stop here and kill everything. If you wish though, you can continue up the stairs to the right and pull the final pack. If your party does this, I'd highly recommend using the ranged or magic limit break to make it a bit easier, as this pull can get very spicy. Watch out for all of the AoEs from the mobs, as it will get pretty nasty if you pull everything. When everything has been defeated, a Chungus of Light will spawn in along with 4 orbs in the corners of the area. The orbs will target random party members with narrow straight line AoEs. The Chungus will only perform half room cleaves. Just watch out for whichever hand he raises into the air. This hand will slam down on that half of the area, so you'll need to move to the opposite side before the floor slap happens. When the Chungus of Light has been defeated, it will disintegrate into a pile of rocks. Scale the rocks and it's final boss time. Orison Fortissimo is a room-wide AoE. Divine Diminuendo is a medium medium-sized circular AoE around the boss. Just get out of this AoE to avoid it. If you get hit by anything avoidable in this fight, you'll get a Von stack. The Forgiven Obscenity will then get the buff of Vorthri's Blessing and cast another Divine Diminuendo. This time there will be additional donut AoEs that will only appear just before they are about to go off. To solve this, you'll need to stay just outside of the original medium-sized AoE, as this area will always be a safe zone from the donut AoEs. Conviction Marcato will have the boss casting a straight line AoE in the direction of a random player. This will also have golden circles on the sides of the boss that will also shoot out untelegraphed straight line AoEs in an X pattern, so the only safe zones for the boss if it's performing this attack are directly behind it and on its sides. The boss will then cast Penance Pianissimo. This will create a glowing mosaic pattern on the outside of the arena. If you step into this, you'll get a bleeding debuff for as long as you're in it. The boss will then cast Feather Marionette and fly out from the arena. One at a time, there will be clones of the boss that will appear in the middle and towards the corners of the arena. You'll only need to pay attention to whichever one is the last to drop into the arena, as that will be the boss itself. You'll be aware of which one it is because it will have the glow of Vorthri's Blessing. All of them will start casting Divine Diminuendo. You'll need to get close to the AoE of the glowing boss because this one will perform the cast with the donut AoEs as well. The boss will then return to the middle of the arena while the clones will be on the outside. The boss will be facing one of the cardinal directions. All the clones will cast Conviction Marcato and perform straight line AoEs. The boss will be the only one with the glowing circles on the sides, so it will also throw out the X pattern. Again, the safe spots are on the sides and behind the glowing boss in the direction it's facing. After this, the clones will disappear and the arena will return to normal. After another room wide, the boss will perform Solitaire Ring and disappear from the arena. 6 large glowing orbs will appear on the staircase side of the arena. A short time later, glowing rings will appear ahead of the orbs. When the orb touches a ring, it will throw out a straight line AoE and both the ring and orb will disappear. This mechanic will be one of 2 patterns. Either the rings appearing in pairs, or the rings appearing across the arena from one side to the other. You'll need to stand wherever the last ring spawns in. Wait for the straight line AoE to go off next to wherever you are standing and move into that space as it goes off. This will get you to avoid the final straight line AoE. As the final AoEs are about to go off, the boss will return to the arena. Do not stand behind the ring, as the orbs will give you a Von stack for every tick that you're hit by them. And finally, Sacrament's Fort Sando is an untelegraphed tank buster. From here, the boss will begin to repeat mechanics until it has been defeated. Congratulations, you have beaten Mount Gulg. My name is The Scrub. Thank you for watching.